the other bond, the
They were-
2 years
okay.
bonds.
Right, they're
Series B,
callable November 1st.
we would call them in and pay them off. $5 billion would be gone. But you'd have two years of Series B bonds wiped off. You know
As
that.
Councilman, as you stated at the TIF meeting, it means there's roughly, $8 to $9 million of outstanding, bond issuance related to the project, whatever that means, the total project, however, has Sports Plex property require that would
After
still be
5 million, how much will be left?
8 to 9.
8 to 9
It
still.
depends on how much, what the portion of TVA comes out to be. 200,000 also goes back to the TIF, obviously, it offers for the reimbursement of the turf. The turf.
But that's, so the first part really 5.6 at that point. 5 point.
Still 5.4.
Yeah, right.
Or shell out for 200.
Yeah.
We, in the last sale, we ran into the issue that the buyer could secure financing. I don't know much about this particular group. Have we qualified them as qualified buyers?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cash sale, because they're not financing anything, so basically after due diligence and closing date, they're writing a check.
So we don't know then if he's capable of writing a $5 million check.
Other than, the $3.2 billion investment they've done since being in business, I don't have.
Yeah, I realize that, but there's a whole other side to some failures as well that has me concerned.
Unless he doesn't pay.
Of
this group?
Well, not this group, because it's a newly formed entity, but of other segments of these investors.
I want to know, Rick, just what
I
failure.
don't have it in front of me, and I'm not going to speculate without having the exact stuff in front of me. But I have found some research, and I know that it was brought up in the TIF meeting as well. This particular individual is now involved in a couple different opportunities with the city of Taylor. Have we put this out for public participation, and if so, how?
Greg has had it on CPIX and CoStar since coming in, since we issued the subscription. We've had a number of people that have contacted that have demonstrated interest. Nobody has submitted a proposal. They've all been advised. 4 parties at least that have communicated. They start talking what the options are. Everything certainly seems to deal with financing versus cash sales. But again, at this point, and we've had this going through June 24th to this point in time. We probably had that a week or so prior to, almost 2 weeks prior to the TPA meeting. Everybody that's contacted has been advised that we have a proposal in hand and they need to get something to us. And we haven't received anything.
And how many people would you say that was?
Probably 4. I don't know how many people Greg has actually spoke to, contacted him, said that they would follow up for some tours and whatever else.
The only thing I would say is there is nothing prohibiting the city from taking backup offers. Well, this one's pending. There's nothing illegal or impermissible about doing that.
Until at what point? What would be cutoff point?
Well, once he's ready, once he set a closing date, you know what I mean? At that point, obviously, you wouldn't be able to terminate this agreement. You would be able to have an agreement that says, should this agreement fall through, your agreement now is in effect.
The other question is that there's a 60-day due diligence period, and then it's
30 days to close.
30 days to close. And as the councilwoman asked earlier about the current booked events, now they won't assume anything until closing, correct? I mean, it won't. Nothing they will do in terms of operations will occur until they close.
No, it's ours. Is that we keep going as if they're not out there until the date of closing.
Which goes along with the turf. We're proceeding with the turf, and that was the whole point. Proceeding with the turf at this point, with the reimbursement out there. Also, I mean, basically in discussion advised that the due diligence period is really gonna be about a matter of us getting the paperwork necessary. So it's about legal getting the draft of the property transfer, getting whatever
The deed
items.
restriction language, and him obviously environmental, we have environmental reports already for the property, getting those to him, getting the title commitment to him, and then obviously this inspection. And there's no, I cannot promise that he has every legal right to terminate during a due diligence period.
You know, for the rest of the council that wasn't at TIF meeting, some questions were being called into whether the character or the financial dealings of Provisions or Mr. Whitehall himself. I know Ms. Neal spoke to some of those related to a Dundee project and the bankruptcy related to that project. I don't know if you want to.
The Dundee one I wasn't aware of, but.
Well, I think there's actually a handful, I mean, there's more than just that one.
I can tell you that, and I have disclosed to before that I have in fact represented historically Murray in other deals and asked for a waiver, and I don't represent him in this transaction whatsoever. I don't have any vested interest one way or the other. I know that Murray, like every real estate developer, has deals that have gone forward, has deals that have not. The only deal that I have any two deals that I can remember that I actually took part with Murray in. One I represented the city, and that was the Detroit Edison, the Edison building, as it's called, and that one went through. And he made a play for the Center Point GM project out in Pontiac, and he didn't get it. And you know, he's a real estate guy. I mean, he's probably got about, I've just brought it 50, 60 LLCs that, you know, are in various stages of success, you know, or failure, or holding their own, or that never go forward. I mean, this is what the guy does.
You know, as I recall on that BTE site, there were some turbo incentives or something that were involved in that particular project. Are there any tax incentives currently tied to this? I mean, again, I haven't reviewed this.
No, he has asked to not be, that they not be taken off the table, but they're not promised in this agreement. We are not promising him any incentives. He has the right to apply just like anybody else would.
But like in the case of the turbo, that's actually applied through the county?
Yeah, I don't even know if Turbo's still, I just got a letter the other day that said Turbo was no more.
Okay.
Because I had a couple of deals that actually were turboed and were in their 5-year tax abatement, and the county kind of wrote a letter saying, we don't think we're going to honor those because we don't have any money. So I don't know if there's still currently deals going through Turbo anymore. I think once Torquilla left, Turbo kind of.
With her?
Yeah.
Neil, you said that this is virtually the same, this is the same?
No, it's not the same words, but it's this. It is basically the same kind of concept. There's an acquisition of the Sports Plex tied to the 14 acres. The difference is being obviously, like I said, the purchase price. We do not have the messiness about this escrow account because he's not the operator. He has nothing to do with the site right now. But the business points are payment for this. We get the land back if you don't develop the 14 acres. And we get the use of the sign, we get the Hall of Fame exhibit. Those are it. So the nuts and bolts of it are taking JRV out of the situation, the same type of a transaction, where we're bifurcating those.
With regard to the purchase, and maybe this is something that the answer is none of my business, but does he have the necessary ability to operate this facility? And I mean, look at all the trouble we had finding somebody that could operate it effectively. We finally get somebody that can operate it effectively, and now he's going to go in there and just assume that he can make ice keep it going and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I also wondered about the idea that we have, we've been told that, one of these sheets goes down and it could cost the city $1 million. Why would he be willing to put that kind of money at risk? I don't, anybody.
I think, John, I think truly that the ice rink, the Sports Plex, is the tail, and the economic development across the street on Superior is the dog. That's what I think. And the air-supported dome and the economic development across the street is the dog, and the Sports Plex building proper is the tail. And with a little bit of operation showing that there is revenue that we're collecting, and that there's a little bit of an operation that their expenses aren't quite as much as the revenue, hey, what happens if a company comes in that can spend $100,000 on marketing, bring a big flagship hotel in, bring a flagship sponsor into the ice rink? I'd love it. I'd love that budget. I'd love to try to do that. I don't have the resources or the money. I would love to try to do that.
But do we assume, now again, maybe it's none of my business, but do we assume that he has somebody who can operate this facility as it is?
He spoke to me at length about operation, and he also spoke to me at length about going out and finding, researching the other buildings that are doing okay. And like I said, I mean, he saw the book of soccer, he sees what's coming down the pike, he sees the contracts I'm working on now, he sees the hockey contracts that I'm working on now. It excites him. It's up over last year by 4 or 5 teams. The soccer's up. So he says, hey, if that can cash flow itself without major repairs, hopefully he gets lucky and he can get that done across the street. Now the dog is wagging the tail. And that's the way I think he's looking at it, as an investment, as a developer, not as an operator. I don't think he's looking at it as an operator. But that's just what I think.